After reading the title, you might think this video is about discouraging you from buying a car or suggesting you to start using public transport or walking to your office. But instead, in this video, through a very simple example, I will break down the economics of owning a car and what is the real cost of owning a car. I will specifically talk about the opportunity cost, which will highlight the effect cars can have on our financial health. In today's world, a car is a necessary tool, and specifically if you are living in an area with poor public transport, then it becomes an unavoidable expense. So the goal of this video is not to discourage you from buying a car, but instead to help you make a balanced car purchase decision. Often owning a particular type of car is associated with a status symbol, and this could lead someone to buy a car way above what they can truly afford and prevent them from achieving financial freedom sooner than they actually can. In the world where things can be bought on monthly installments, a luxury car may seem just $200 a month away, but in reality, that extra $200 a month is the golden handcuff preventing you from being financially free and independent. And after a house, a car is probably the second largest expense that one has to make. And given its size and impact on our finances, it is very important to be careful before buying a car. So with that said, let us get started. My name is Kanak and welcome back to my channel. Your support is what keeps the channel running. So show your support by liking the video and dropping your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, let us understand the real cost of car ownership through a very simple example. Imagine there are three people, A, B and C, and each person has $50,000 in cash. Person A decides to buy a new luxury car, let's say a Mercedes GLA SUV for $50,000. Person B decides to buy a new Honda CR-V for $35,000, and person C decides to buy a 5-year-old Honda CR-V for $20,000. Now let's calculate all the costs that these three people will incur during the first 5 years of their car ownership. The first biggest cost that is often ignored by most people is the depreciation cost, and that is because it is not a cost that is visible, which means it is not something that people have to pay in hard cash every month. However, depreciation is a very real cost. Depreciation simply means the resale value of your car decreases as it gets older, and the value of your car decreases the most in the first 5 years, and the rate of decrease reduces as the car gets older. A new car depreciates by about 20% in the first year, and by the 5th year, the value of the car depreciates by almost 50%. What this means is, if you buy a new car and sell it after 5 years, you will only get half the money of what you paid to buy the car. However, the rate at which car depreciates decreases significantly after the first 5 years. So in our example, person A and person B will experience a 50% depreciation in their car's value because they bought a new car. So person A will incur almost $25,000 in depreciation cost because he bought an expensive luxury car, whereas person B will incur almost $17,000. However, person C, who bought a 5-year-old Honda CR-V, will experience the lowest depreciation cost at about 20%. So the value of his car will decrease only by about $7,000. Person C experienced the lowest depreciation cost not only because he bought a 5-year-old car, but also because he chose not to buy a luxury car. Now, depreciation of a car depends a lot on the make and model of the car. However, this is the typical depreciation rate that is observed. Now, the second biggest cost component is repairs and maintenance. The maintenance and repair cost for Mercedes starts at about $400 in the first year and then increases by about $300 to $400 each year until year 10. So, for the first 5 years, person A will incur roughly about $5,000 in total maintenance and repair cost. Similarly, for the new Honda CR-V, the maintenance and repair cost starts at about $250 in the first year and slowly increases by about $200 to $300 each year until year 10. So person B, who bought a new Honda CR-V, will roughly incur about $3,000 in maintenance and repair cost. Now for person C, who bought a 5-year-old Honda CR-V, we will assume that he will incur higher maintenance and repair cost. And just to be conservative, we will assume his cost will be more than double that of person B. So that brings person C's cost to about $7,000 for the next 5 years. Many people believe old cars have a very high maintenance and repair cost, but brands such as Honda and Toyotas that produce very reliable cars have a very low maintenance and repair cost, even for their used and old cars. Now the third very important cost is insurance. According to the data, average annual insurance cost of a new Mercedes GLA SUV is about $2,000, whereas that of a new Honda CR-V is about $1,500. On the other hand, the average annual insurance cost for 5-year-old Honda CR-V will be about $1,200. So over the 5-year period, the person A who owns the Mercedes will incur about $10,000 in insurance cost. Person B, who owns the Honda CR-V, will incur $7,500 in insurance cost, whereas person C, who owns an old Honda CR-V, will incur $6,000 in insurance cost. The fourth cost is fuel. Even though the Mercedes has slightly lower mileage at about 25 miles per gallon compared to Honda CR-V's 28 miles per gallon, we will assume all three people drive 10,000 miles each year and incur similar fuel cost of about $8,000. Now the fifth and very critical cost, which is again not visible, is the opportunity cost. In our example, person B, who did not buy a luxury car, invested the cash savings of $15,000 in the S&P 500. And over the course of 5 years, that $15,000 turned into $25,000 at a 10% rate of return. Whereas person C, who bought an old Honda CR-V, invested the $30,000 of cash savings into the S&P 500. Over the course of 5 years, the $30,000 turned roughly into $50,000 at 10% rate of return. So by spending all the $50,000 on a depreciating asset, person A lost the opportunity to gain by investing in the appreciating assets such as the stock market. Whereas person C made the maximum gain by investing the surplus cash savings in the stock market, and in fact, he generated a return that helped him regain his initial starting capital of $50,000. Now let's sum up the total cost of ownership. For person A, who bought a new luxury car, the total cost of ownership was about $48,000 over the course of 5 years. Whereas person B, who did not buy a luxury car but instead bought a new Honda CR-V, had a 30% lower cost of car ownership at about $35,000. However, by not buying a luxury car, person B was able to save and invest, which helped him gain $25,000. So relative to person A, the actual car ownership cost of person B was only $10,000. Now person C, who bought a 5-year-old Honda CR-V, had a 40% lower cost of car ownership at only $28,000. However, person C was able to invest his savings and generate almost $50,000. So person C was actually able to generate gains that not only offset the cost of ownership, but in fact, he was able to generate more money by investing the excess savings. In our example, we assumed that all three people had $50,000 in cash available to buy the car. However, most of the time people buy cars on monthly installments. The more expensive car a person buys, the more money the person would have to spend towards monthly installments. However, by buying a 5-year-old car, the person can reduce their monthly installment and invest the excess cash in low-cost index fund like the S&P 500, which can then compound at 9 to 10% rate of return. What this example tells us is that buying a used and a non-luxury brand car is a financially smart decision. But the biggest criticism of buying a used car is the high maintenance and repair cost. The way to control maintenance and repair cost is by buying cars that are not too old but are about 5 years old. The reason for picking cars at about 5 years mark is because that's the point when the steep fall in depreciation curve starts to flatten. There are car brands such as Toyota and Honda that produce highly reliable cars. Even the resale value of Hondas and Toyotas is the highest in the market, given their reliability in the resale market. Secondly, they have the least maintenance and repair cost among all brands in the US. As you can see, the 10-year maintenance cost of various cars can be as low as $4,000 to $5,000, which will average around $400 to $500 each year. Now, buying a 5-year-old Honda or Toyota might not make you look like the richest or the coolest person among your friends, but it will help you get the job done by getting you from point A to point B. Even bigger than that, it will help you achieve financial independence sooner than you can by buying a brand new luxury car. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching and show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.